It's been a really busy few months for monitor news, and for those who visit the site regularly, you'll hopefully have been keeping up to date on all of the news that we've brought you there. But we do know that there's a lot of information to take on, and not everybody has time to visit the site regularly and keep up to date on all of their news. So with that in mind, and to make things easier for everyone, we thought it might be useful to provide you with a roundup video of all of the main news and highlights from the last few months. This will hopefully make it easier for you to digest quickly, and hopefully that will make it easier for you all to follow all of the latest news in one place. Well, that's the plan anyway, but please let us know in the comment section below if you find this useful or not, and if it's something that you'd like to see us do more of. It's something that we're thinking about doing on a monthly basis, so again, if this appeals to you, do let us know in the comments below and we'll endeavour to carry on with it. You can find more information and details for all of the screens that we're going to cover in this video on our main website in the news section, which we'll link to below as well, but let's get right into all of the highlights. Where better place to start than with the wide range of new super high refresh rate gaming screens that we've seen announced, which are aimed at professional and esports gamers. These are smaller 24-inch size screens built around TN film technology panels, which are the fastest LCD panel technology available and still very popular in that gaming niche with that smaller screen size, where we don't currently have any OLED offerings. They've all got a focus on delivering the highest refresh rates available and the best motion clarity possible. They've all got a 1080p resolution and refresh rates of 600Hz or slightly more in some cases, up to 610Hz. There's a wide range of monitor manufacturers releasing screens of this spec aimed at that gaming segment, so there's a lot of competition and choice. First up is BenQ's Zowie XL2568X Plus, which is a 24-inch size screen built around a fast TN offering a 1080p resolution and 600Hz refresh rate. This model also features their DIAC 2 technology to reduce motion blur and ensure exceptional image clarity, making this brand a very popular choice in the competitive and esports market already. BenQ's co-development with the panel manufacturer AU Optronics apparently means less overshoot when gaming than their previous models, and they promote things like enhanced colour performance and a new auto game mode which will automatically switch colours and modes depending on what the screen is being used for. Unlike some of the other 600Hz models that will be featured in this video in a moment, this one is actually available to buy now, and you can find links in the description below to check pricing and availability in your region. If you're looking for other brands who have offerings in this new esports gaming monitor segment, then AOC have two monitors in their pipeline which were announced recently. Both of these boast the super high refresh rates. The AOC Aegon Pro CS24A features an exclusive Counter-Strike 2 branding with distinctive orange accents that celebrate that iconic game. Again, this is a 24-inch TN film LCD panel, 1080p resolution, and their model boasts a slightly higher 610Hz refresh rate. Other features worth mentioning are AOC's MBR Plus or Motion Blur Reduction Plus technology, featuring a dual backlight system that delivers amazing motion clarity and an equivalent to BenQ's DIAC 2 that we talked about a moment ago. Just in case you're not a Counter-Strike fan, no problem, AOC have you covered there as well. They've also delivered the same specs for their Aegon Pro AG246FK6, which is exactly the same as the CS24A, just dressed up in a more familiar Aegon Pro conventional design if you prefer that. That model should be hitting the market imminently, and the CS24A version is apparently going to be released in September sometime. Another screen that was announced recently to compete in this ever-growing high refresh rate market is the Philips Evnia model, shown here with a very long model name that we won't go through. Part of their expanding Evnia series, this features a 610Hz refresh rate. Again, their model actually has a built-in ergonomic arm which ensures a comfortable viewing experience and an alternative to a traditional stand. There's also a number of smart gaming features too. Asus also announced their equivalent model back in May at Computex, and we had a chance to see this again more recently actually at Gamescom 2025 in August. Their ROG Strix Ace XG248QSG offers a 610Hz refresh rate and support for their extreme low motion blur 2 technology that can actually also be used at the same time as VRR via their eLNB sync mode. This screen is going to be used in all of the upcoming Counter-Strike Blast events in the next few months by all of the players there, and so we expect this to be a popular option in this segment. The final 600Hz eSport monitor we want to mention is the MSI MPG 242R X60N, a model that we saw at Computex in May and that should be released in the near future. MSI's model has a 600Hz refresh rate, and they've added their own MPRT sync blur reduction mode that can be used at the same time as VRR2. So there's a wide range of options from different manufacturers announced in recent months if you're after a smaller format gaming monitor for competitive and esports gaming situations. More information, like we say, on all of these are available on our main website, and if any catch your eye in particular, you can check out specs and details there. It's also worth bringing you up to date on the high refresh rate OLED monitors too. We saw loads of 500Hz refresh rate QD-OLED monitors announced at Computex back in May, and while they weren't available to buy at that time, we're happy to report that some of these are now starting to become available. These are all 27-inch sized, using 3rd gen Samsung display QD-OLED panels and offering a 2560 by 1440 resolution and a 500Hz refresh rate, the highest available so far actually from any OLED monitor, although we've recently seen LG Display develop something even faster that we'll talk about a bit later. Again, you can find more detail about these models on our website if you need, and we've also got a tracker there actually for checking availability of all of these 500Hz OLED monitors that should be helpful if you're after one of these. First up to be widely available is Samsung's Odyssey G60 SF. Along with a whole host of gaming features, the screen has a matte anti-glare screen coating added to reduce reflections and glare. Apparently this helps reduce reflections by up to 54% compared with traditional semi-glossy QD-OLED panel finishes. Another fairly unique feature is the use of some advanced burn-in mitigation technologies, which includes a pulsating heat pipe, which can apparently help dissipate heat 5 times faster according to Samsung than a graphite sheet, along with a thermal modulation system which helps to automatically control brightness. You can find the G60 SF available at most leading retailers now. There's a link below in the description, or you can scan the QR code on the screen now if that's easier. Other 500Hz QD-OLED options that are starting to become available now include the Asus ROG Swift XG27AQ DPG that we saw showcased at Computex in May. Their model comes with their new ROG OLED Care Pro technologies that includes the Neo proximity sensor. That's a sensitive TOF sensor that allows users to set their preferred usage distance, and then when you move away from the screen, the monitor will switch to black to help mitigate the risk of image retention and burn-in. We've been saying for a while in our reviews that it would make sense to have this kind of feature on OLED panels to help mitigate the risk of image retention, so it's great to see that this has now been added to some of these new screens. The Asus model has started to appear at a few places now. Another 500Hz OLED option that started to appear in limited stock is the MSI MAG272QP-X50. We've got this screen with us now for full review in fact, so do hit subscribe if you want to stay up to date on that coming soon. Their model has similar specs to the Samsung and Asus models, like the 27-inch size QD-OLED panel, 1440p resolution, 500Hz refresh rate, and it includes their newly added MSI features like MPRT, or that's a black frame insertion mode for blur reduction. That's available at lower refresh rates. And they've also added their new EOTF boost option for HDR that's designed to help improve brightness. This MAG model will sit along MSI's other screen that was announced earlier this year, the MPG271QR-X50. That's going to be released later on in the year. The MPG version is not available yet owing to the additional features that it will boast, including MSI's new OLED Care 3.0 technologies, a new AI Care motion sensor, DisplayPort 2.1 connectivity, a new OSD software design even, and a higher power delivery, which is 98 watts from its USB Type-C connection. That alternative model is due to hit the shelves in Q4 and will carry a slightly higher price tag when it's released. Gigabyte's Aorus FO27Q5P is expected to be released widely very soon as well, and that's started to appear in some European countries already. Their offering will include DisplayPort 2.1 with UHBR20 bandwidth, daisy chaining support, an added BFI blur reduction mode, and a range of tactical gaming features and settings to enhance your gaming experience. We saw this model at Computex in May, and we expect it to start appearing in other regions to buy very soon. Do keep an eye on our availability tracker for all of the 500Hz QD-OLED monitors on our main site if you're interested in any of these screens, or some of the others that have been announced that will be released later this year. A very recent piece of news from Gamescom in August was the unveiling of the new Asus ROG Swift PG27AQ-WP-W. This is the world's fastest OLED gaming monitor with a 27-inch screen size, 1440p resolution, and a 540Hz native refresh rate. It's built around a new 4th gen primary RGB tandem WOLED panel, and that even includes a dual mode function to boost the refresh rate up to 720Hz, but at a much lower resolution of 720p for certain gaming situations. It's got their new true black glossy screen coating as well, a brand new design aesthetic, and all of their top ROG Swift features such as DP 2.1 connectivity, their new Neo proximity sensor, and so on. We've got loads more information and details about this exciting upcoming screen in our Gamescom coverage, linked below too. Right, that's enough about the super high refresh rate monitors that have been announced recently. Let's move on to something else that's featuring more and more on product lines of late, and that is the inclusion of a dual mode function, which allows users to select different resolutions and refresh rates to suit their style of game and their gaming genres. For example, Philips have announced 2 new dual mode screens recently, which hopefully will be available at some point in the near future. The 27M2N6-801M is part of their Evnia range and provides a 27-inch sized fast IPS LCD panel with a native refresh rate of 160Hz and a 4K resolution. However, with these dual mode screens, if speed is a priority instead of image detail, then there's the option to double that refresh rate up to 320Hz if you lower your resolution to 1080p instead. This is particularly useful if you're going to switch between games that are perhaps high speed, like FPS type games, or for other games that require more stunning visuals and image detail. Special mention for this one must also be made to the screen's 2304 local dimming zone mini LED backlight, which offers high-end HDR capabilities as well as certification under VESA Display HDR 1400. With that large number of local dimming zones, it should be able to offer excellent contrast and reduced blooming compared with lower zone count LCD monitors. This screen is not yet available outside of China, so we'll have to wait for further news on release and availability in other regions. Another monitor announced recently by Philips is their second dual mode offering, which is the Evnia 27M2N3-800A. This is similar to the previous model we just talked about, but without that mini LED backlight. So it doesn't have the high-end HDR capabilities that the other model does. Again, it's got that dual mode function that allows you to switch between 4K 160Hz and 320Hz at 1080p. Other recent announcements featuring dual mode include the MSI MAG275 UPD E14, featuring a 27-inch 4K resolution, rapid IPS panel with a 144Hz refresh rate. The dual mode function here allows you to boost your refresh rate up to 288Hz while dropping again to a low resolution of 1080p if you prefer. No news yet on when this is likely to reach key regions for release, but watch this space for more information. Finally, also worth a mention in this section is the Titan Army P275 MVA, which, like the MSI MAG275 model that we just went through, is a 27-inch 4K IPS panel with 144Hz refresh rate and that dual mode capability to go up to 288Hz at 1080p. This model does, however, feature a 1152 zone mini LED backlight for high-end HDR performance and capabilities, with over 1000 nits peak brightness and VESA Display HDR 1000 certification. Availability is still to be confirmed on this one as well. Back to some more OLED news. In other recent announcements, LG Display have announced the successful production of their first 4th gen WOLED panel, a 27-inch panel with a 1440p resolution and a 280Hz refresh rate. With this panel now in mass production, we've seen 3 monitors announced so far using it, which would be released in the next couple of months widely. If you want to know loads more about 4th gen WOLEDs and why it's so exciting, you can check out our full video linked below on this topic. But these screens will offer improved SDR and HDR brightness, as well as improved colour volume, black depth and lifespan. These panels achieve these improvements thanks to the new panel structure, shifting from 3 light emitting layers to 4. LG Electronics have adopted this new panel from LG Display for their new UltraGear LG27GX700A, which has recently become available to buy in limited stock in the US, although expect it to be hard to find for a while. Gigabyte announced their MO27Q28G back in May at Computex, and it's likely to be a very popular model with a lot of people already looking forward to the release around the end of September. Their model includes new features like their ultra clear BFI mode, and we're expecting to receive this model very soon for a full review ahead of its launch. The third model announced with a 4th gen WOLED panel is the Asus ROG Strix XG27 AQWMG. This model was officially announced at Gamescom recently, and one that we've actually already reviewed in full. Their model includes their new true black glossy panel coating, offering a really clear and sharp image with excellent black depth in all lighting conditions. This one's due to be released in Q4 sometime, but you can check out our full review, link below, to find out loads more information about this screen and about 4th Gen WOLED benefits in general. Let's now move our attention to some larger screen sizes. If you're looking for something larger for general and productivity applications, then there's a few new large monitors that have been announced. One exciting announcement recently came from LG when they unveiled their new ultrafine screen, the 40WT95UF. This is aimed at professional users and has a 40-inch ultra-wide screen utilising an expansive display with a 2500R subtle curvature and an ultra-high 5K 2K resolution of 5120 by 2160. This is an IPS LCD screen, and it's also got a great range of features and connections, including connectivity options such as DP 2.1 and 2 Thunderbolt 5 connections. There's also a built-in KVM switch function and picture-in-picture and picture-by-picture functionality. It's not available yet, but it's expected to be released during Q4. Taking screen size up another notch are Samsung Electronics, who launched 2 new super ultra-wide QD-OLED displays in their Odyssey lineup in recent months. Both the G93SD and the G95SD boast a massive 49-inch super ultra-wide screen with a 240Hz refresh rate and a 5120 by 1440 resolution. The only difference between the two models, other than the price, is that the G95SD contains an array of smart TV functions, making it a more suitable choice if you're looking for a hybrid TV and monitor. The other model is a more standard monitor without those smart TV capabilities. Both of these 49-inch super ultra-wide QD-OLED monitors were released recently and are available now. Another smart monitor released from Samsung is the M90SF. This is at a more mainstream size and aspect ratio, 32 inches, 16 by 9. The M9 introduces QD-OLED technology to the smart monitor series in this size and provides some AI-powered enhancements as well. Their updated processor offers AI picture optimization and upscaling, as well as enhancements for sound quality from the built-in speakers. It also features a glare-free display using their added matte anti-glare coating to minimize reflections and ensure good visibility. The M9 also has integrated streaming apps, Samsung TV Plus and Samsung Gaming Hub built into it. That one's available now, and you can check out pricing and availability for this and all of the other screens that we've been discussing using the links in the description. Before we leave you, we wanted to give a few shout outs to some other screens which caught our attention in the last few months that you may be interested in. First up is the ViewSonic XG273 4K OLED monitor, a 27-inch QD-OLED panel with a 4K resolution and 240Hz refresh rate. If bird figurines are your thing, then this screen comes complete with a limited edition ViewSonic bird figurine in the box. That's pretty unusual and unique. It also has a somewhat unique design featuring an all-black front and an all-white rear with RGB backlighting there as well. It also boasts 2 DisplayPort 2.1 connections along with other standard connectivity and inputs. It's an upcoming alternative to the wide range of other 27-inch 4K OLED monitors already released earlier this year. Another screen offering similar specs to the ViewSonic that we've just discussed that's now available in many European regions already is AOC's Aegon Pro AG276UZD. Special features of this screen include DP 2.1 connectivity and various gaming features to help you stay ahead of the competition. AOC have also announced 3 further models in their affordable G4 and G42 series of gaming monitors. There's a 24.5-inch sized Q25G4SR, which offers a rare 2560 by 1440 resolution in this size, combined with a 300Hz refresh rate. There's also a couple of new 27-inch models which offer a 1440p resolution as well, with a 260Hz overclocked refresh rate. These two models are very similar in terms of their panel and specs, but the ZR model offers a wider feature set than the ZE model, including things like integrated speakers, a fully adjustable stand, an extra HDMI port, and a slightly higher brightness spec. For the more budget-conscious gamers, the ZE model offers the same core performance as the ZR model, with a 240Hz refresh rate overclockable to 260Hz, and an almost identical fast IPS panel specification, but with streamlined features including a tilt-only stand, low brightness, simplified connectivity, and no integrated speakers. Finally then, as this roundup has been largely about gaming monitors, for those budding colour enthusiasts and professionals out there, there's the ISO ColorEdge CG3100X. This one may be of interest to you as well. This colour management monitor is 30.5 inches in size with an IPS technology LCD panel. It offers a DCI 4K resolution of 4096 by 2160, making it a popular choice for content creation and editing. This one incorporates a built-in calibration sensor, allowing for hardware level calibration without the need for another device. There's a massive range of colour presets and modes, and support for their Colour Navigator 7 software to help ensure consistent colour accuracy and precision. That's essential if you're a professional user or doing any kind of colour critical work. Colour mode presets can easily be changed via the switches on the front of the monitor as well. There's also a detachable shielding hood to prevent glare on the screen that comes with the monitor. If you've reached this far, then thank you for sticking with us through this roundup, and hopefully you found that kind of roundup and summary a useful summary of all of the recent news that's been going on in the last couple of months. We should also reference a couple of recent articles that we've published that may be of interest too. One exploring and testing VRR flicker on OLED monitors, and the other looking in detail at the upcoming HDMI 2.2 connection, its specs, and all of the bits that you might not have heard elsewhere or that they don't tell you about. You can check both of those new articles on our main website if you want to know a lot more. We do expect the future news roundup videos to be quite a bit shorter than this as we provide them more frequently, but if you like what you've heard and you found this format useful, please leave us a comment below. If there's things that we didn't cover that you'd like to see covered in future roundups, please let us know that as well. And do make sure you hit subscribe to stay up to date on all of this kind of future monitor news, our roundups, and all of our other monitor content. If there's anything you want to know more about or that catches your eye, like I said earlier, there's links in the description below to our news pages where you can find all of these screens in one place if you want to find all that information. Anyway, thank you for watching this far. We'll catch you next time.